Let me preface by saying I'm not paranoid. I just know they're talking about me. Who, might you ask? The government? Probably not. My wife? Maybe. My neighbors? Definitely. I know it. They're talking about my yard and how it's boring. I really enjoy gardening, and that's what I've decided to do. Build some boxes out front. Now this might sound crazy, but I've decided to use these pellets in order to make my yard look more aesthetically appealing. When using pellets for home projects, or in this case, gardening, it's important to find ones that are safe to use. While doing my research, I found that those that are listed as HT, or heat treated, are much safer than those that are chemically treated. So needless to say, I was quite happy when I found these. These pellets are really stout, and the company that I got them from informed me that they're used to transport large bundles of steel on. These were shipped from Northern Europe. They're 2 inches thick, and they range from 7 inches to 5.5 inches wide, and they're almost 50 inches long. I got started by taking them apart and then removing the nails. I bought this nail remover from Amazon, and I'm quite pleased with it. It makes what would otherwise be a long process into something that's much shorter and easier to do. Once these were taken apart, I used my mathematical and geometric skills in order to come up with dimensions and a layout for the front yard. After thinking about it for quite some time, I've decided to make these boxes 4 feet long and 3 feet wide. I'm going to have 4 rows, each containing 3 boxes, and I think it'll be a nice layout for the front yard. In order for these boxes to look more uniform, I've decided to cut them down to 5 3/4 inches tall. Once they were cut to size, I made sure they were square and then clamped them together. I used decking screws to keep them together, and in order not to split the wood, I drilled pilot holes before I screwed them in. I feel that if I left these boxes the way they were, they would detract from my yard and not add much to it. So after doing some research, I've settled on a Japanese technique, and I hope I don't butcher this, but it's called Shou. The process involves charring the outside, and what this does is it adds a layer of carbon and makes the wood somewhat waterproof. Oftentimes, the outside of the wood is also oiled, and this protects it even further from moisture. I'm not going to do that in this video. I figured since these are used for garden boxes, it just wouldn't be necessary. There's a YouTuber whose work I really enjoy. His channel's called Mr. Chickadee, and in his videos he uses this technique quite often. This is where I got the inspiration to make these boxes. After I charred the boxes, I gave them a quick rinse down in order to cool them, and then I moved them out front. My front yard consists of a lot of decomposed granite, and in some areas it's as deep as 10 inches. So I got to work and leveled it as best as I could. I then laid the boxes out, and this gave me a good reference point as to their final placement. I used some stakes and some string in order to get them as exact as I could. After I got the boxes laid out, I dug out the decomposed granite in the centers and used it on the rest of my yard. Getting these exactly level was a bit tedious. They are made out of pallet wood after all. My ultimate plan is to put my fig trees out in these boxes. I was able to cut the fabric underneath these boxes and staple them. This serves two purposes. It keeps the decomposed granite out of the boxes and will allow for the roots to grow. This was the part that I really enjoyed, because it meant that this project was almost over. I decided that for some of these boxes I would put wood as the base and then a layer of topsoil followed by mulch. The wood will hopefully over time decompose and add to the nutrients to the soil. The rest of the boxes consist of a layer of compost, then topsoil, and then mulch. The mulch is on top, and this will prevent the soil from degrading over time. With the last box finally complete, we can take a look at the results of the hard work. My family and I live in northern Nevada, and this offers unique challenges to gardening and landscaping. But I certainly do look forward to transforming our yard from decomposed granite into a beautiful desert garden. I hope you enjoyed watching this. Thank you.